chain now complaining that they're getting burned by a new regulation requiring exact calorie counts on menus. An executive for Domino's Pizza saying vague wording makes it impossible to comply. Quote, essentially, we think this rule is kind of disaster for everybody, not just pizza, but restaurants and anybody that's going to fall within this law. It's still not workable. Lisa Booth is Senior Director of BlackRock Group. Marjorie Clifton was a consultant to the Obama campaign. She's also a principal of Clifton Consulting. Great to have you on the show, ladies. I don't know about you, but I love pizza, but apparently Domino's does not love Obamacare. Lisa, what is wrong with this regulation?
Right. Well, I love Domino's Pizza as well, but I think what this does is it underscores some of the big problems with Obamacare. It's incredibly complex, and it's full of mandates, taxes, and regulations. And it's not just companies like Domino's that are struggling under Obamacare. It's also companies like H&R Block. As we head into tax season, H&R Block said that it's incredibly impossible to understand the Obamacare tax code, which represents, the biggest change to our tax code in 20 years. And look, it's not just the confusing nature of Obamacare that's problematic for businesses. It's also the cost. If you look in its first 4 years, Obamacare has cost small businesses $1.9 billion and 11.3 million hours in compliance.
She brings up some interesting points, Marjorie. Where is she wrong?
Well, I think what Domino's is frustrated about having to implement something else. It's going to cost them a little bit of money. But actually what Domino's did say was they were supportive of the spirit of the law. What the spirit of the law is actually empowering consumers to make good food choices. And why is this important? It's important because according to health economists, 25% of the increase of healthcare costs is directly related to type 2 diabetes. Right. And that is just one aspect of obesity or unhealthy eating.
You could argue that that's being passed along now to make it the restaurant's responsibility to put the calorie count because Americans can't figure it out for themselves. Now, here's the problem. But let me just get this out. Here's the problem in and of itself. For somebody like Domino's or any other restaurant, when you order stuff a la carte, their struggle with this law is that if you order a pizza with pepperoni, black olives, green olives, onion, and extra cheese, how the heck do they develop a different menu for every single specific order? Marjorie, you said this was a little cost. That sounds to me like a big cost.
Well, they estimated it was about $4,000 to $5,000 per restaurant just to implement the changes. But here's how I look at it. In the 80s, when prescription drug companies were all of a sudden required to put that protective seal on our Tylenol bottles, what they were trying to do was empower consumers to make safe decisions when they were buying our drugs and our medicines that we take all the time. I see it kind of the same way with food. And look, I work directly with the FDA and actually implementing laws that impact companies and with companies and working with the FDA. They're not unreasonable. They're not absolutely crazy. They're trying to protect consumers.
I want to get Lisa back in here for 10 seconds because that's actually a good point. Does she have a fair point, Lisa?
Well, no, look, there's nothing about empowering consumers when you're putting the government in between individuals' doctors and their health care making decisions. And look, it's not just businesses that have been impacted by Obamacare. If you look at families as well, Democrats said that the health care law costs would drop for families. But if you look at a recent Gallup poll, Americans listed health care costs as their biggest problem.
Well, the controversy and discussion about Obamacare continues 4 years, 5 years
even
after
with
it passed. Even with pizza. Marjorie, Lisa, thank you.